Hi, everybody. When I saw the slot that I would have, I thought, oh my God, it's like the second day, it's before lunch, this is awful. I think I have one of the best spots because after a day and a half of hearing from so many of you and talking with so many of you, I feel like I'm with my people and I have a whole bunch of new friends. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation right now. Even if you are not in the place of building a community, I hope that there's some nugget from today's presentation that might, I hate to say inspire, but I'll use the word, inspire you in some other facet of your job. So yes, I'm Jamie. I lead marketing and customer experience for a global team at Experian. Let me set some context because Experian, many of you probably know us as a credit bureau. We've got a direct-to-consumer side of the business. That is not the side that I'm on. I am in a business unit called Decision Analytics. We sell data analytics technology to businesses, mainly financial services. I am on a global team, and the global team also has regional business units. So it's a complicated matrix, and that plays into the conversation today too. So we have one of the best jobs ever, don't we, as customer marketers, if that's what we call ourselves now. We wear so many hats, but really at the end of the day, we want to make sure our customers feel cared for. And as customers ourselves, don't we want to feel that way too? We want to feel taken care of. So community is one way to do that, but it is not a one-size-fits-all approach. We have heard over the last day and a half many ways that we can help our customers feel taken care of. So why community and why now? There are reports everywhere. Customer Marketing Alliance has them. I happen to pull a few stats from Forrester, but we know that marketing organizations are increasing their spend on customer engagement. That's great news for us. Community involvement is rising up as a KPI that CMOs care about. And growth companies are really focused on post-sale customer engagement. It's important for us right now at Experian because we are in a long SaaS transformation journey where years of success has been built upon on-premise, multi-million-dollar, multi-year deals. And I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but now is probably a good time to set the context. So top banks are key customers, high touch, white glove service from our sales team. Those big clients yield strong results in NPS. Well, how do you scale that model when we move into the SaaS environment where contracts are 12 to 18 months and a customer can decide if they want to keep working with us or not that quickly? And we want hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those clients. And so community is a great way to do that. So what was happening at Experian? So back in 2019, I'm sure many of you have been in this position before. Senior stakeholders say to me, Jamie, we need a client advisory board. And when I get that kind of tactical request, my first question is, what are you trying to achieve with a client advisory board? And that question yielded answers like, well, we want to keep a close pulse on what's happening in the market. We want to get meaningful feedback from our clients. We want to deepen relationships with our clients and build loyalty. We want to create networking opportunities. We just heard Nisa say, customers want to be networking with their industry peers. Well, there's lots of ways to achieve these objectives. And yes, a client advisory board is a great way, but there are other ways as well. At the time, I said, we can look at a client advisory board. I put together a budget. They wanted a global client advisory board. The logistics of bringing people from multiple countries together in one space for a 2-day session is hard to ask people at that level to commit that kind of time, and it's really, really expensive. So this was happening in 2019, present the budget, and during the budget cycle in the fall of that year, we get into 2020, I start exploring a community, and then everyone went home to work. So it was kind of perfect timing to bring up this community idea. Also, after doing a bit of research, our competitors have these online communities, and we don't. So that was another kind of red flag and motivation for testing this out. And our customers were asking for it. So when we dig into a little bit of the NPS data, Our customers, in the verbatims, we want to understand and share what's happening in the industry. They themselves were saying, your competitors have this, we'd like to have something like that with Experian as well. We have clients in Europe who were saying, hey, I'm in South Africa and I don't compete with this bank in Germany, but I'd sure love to sit side by side with them and understand what they're doing and learn from them. So today, when I talk about communities, it's going to be fairly high level. It's not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it because there are many vendors out there who would love to have that conversation with you. I happen to work with Vanilla Higher Logic, and they've been great, but I'm going to keep it kind of high level and talk about the journey and where we're at today. So communities are about engagement, and there's lots of benefits of implementing. You can create advocates, lots of conversation about customer advocacy over the last day and a half. It does help with that scaling that I talked about of the white glove service. It is that one-to-many approach. It can help to retain clients, especially as I mentioned, we're on this journey from on-premise to SaaS. And one of the first things, though, because communities can accomplish a lot of different objectives, you do have to get focused on the type of community you want based on what objective you want to achieve. And so we were looking at, okay, is this going to be a support community where many of us are familiar with this type of setup where customers help each other out? And that wasn't what we were looking at here. We said we want to generate conversations amongst people who understand what's going on in the industry amongst each other, but not, we'd really like to change the blue button to red. We have a different customer self-service team that's building that out. This was not that. We said we didn't want this to be product specific and product focused, although the halo effect of a community would impact product, it wasn't the focus. So acquisition, our community is not visible via search. It's intended just for clients, and so acquiring new clients wasn't an objective of our community. What we decided for our community was it was truly just focused on engagement. We wanted members of the community to come together, common interests related to our brand or products that they were buying from us. And we decided to focus on post-sales. As I mentioned, we've got the front end of the journey pretty well covered. In fact, I think that's, being here for the last day and a half, it's clear to me that there's so much opportunity for us in decision analytics to spend more time and effort on a strategy and a plan around the post-sale customer marketing and engagement. We've got the websites and the Global Insights blog and social media and a developer portal, and we're building out the customer self-service portal. And what's happening is our clients are getting lumped into all of the pre-sales marketing efforts and content, and it's not as relevant as what we want to do in the community, which is post-sales support, use, and renewal. And answering the questions that clients have around, are there best practices I should be aware of? Is there new functionality that I should know is coming? Is anyone using functionality that we haven't started using yet and you're seeing better results? I think there's a huge opportunity for clients who already make an investment with our solutions to get more out of their investment. I want to collaborate with others. I want access to Experian experts. So we focused on this part of the customer journey. And so in designing our community, we kept all of that in mind, and we also looked at it from a customer point of view. What do our customers want, and what do we want to give them? One of those things is access to the products and the experts that they're already kind of engaging with at Experian. So said another way, access to Experian experts that maybe they don't have because their main relationship is with a salesperson. Visibility into what we're planning. I think because we've had a model of just a one-to-one sales relationship, high-touch, white glove, it's one-to-one, 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 and we know that clients are clamoring for roadmap, visibility into roadmap. What do you guys have coming? And the model that we've had is just not scalable to that. And so one of the pushbacks I get when I go soliciting champions and help for the community is, well, bandwidth, I don't know if I have time. And I say, gosh, you know, you had a conversation with a client today, And then tomorrow you're gonna have the same conversation with another client, and you're gonna do that all week long. And what I'm asking you to do is, if you're hearing common themes and questions coming up from clients, get into the community and bring the conversation there and get many clients talking about it. That hasn't totally taken off yet, but I'm continuing to beat that drum. For us, of course, there's got to be something in it for us as well. Crowdsourcing feedback. I mentioned scaling the in-person model. And ultimately driving up those customer satisfaction ratings. You assume, I believe, that increased engagement, better engaged customers leads to more satisfied customers, loyalty, retention, advocacy. It's what we've all been talking about the last couple days. So other key actions, I mentioned we're not going to go into nuts and bolts, but there were some really specific things we did early. Decide what kind of community we wanted based on objectives, and then deciding what was in it for customers, what was in it for us. Developing personas. So ask yourself, who is your ideal persona? And this is like marketing 101, and it applies to the community development as well. Are these customers or buyers? For us, these were customers. As I mentioned, we are not open for anyone to come in and visit. And I'm going to get to it in a minute. We have some work to do on our personas. Identify and recruit champions. I don't want to diminish my role as the community leader, but I say I am the hostess. I welcome everybody in, I make sure everyone has a drink in hand, they're eating, but I need people to come in that are the subject matter experts for our offerings to talk to our clients. That is not me. And I need them to be content creators, I need them to participate in active discussions, and so I'm constantly trying to build that team of champions. But when you start off, you want a few of those folks in the room with you. And then, of course, an executive sponsor. That came up on another talk today, and I jotted that down because I think my initial executive sponsor has kind of been absent, so I need to make sure I have an executive sponsor. Develop and maintain a content calendar. Again, this is part of our role as marketers, and it's no different for building a community. You want to have a regular cadence of content in there. That's been a challenge for us, is we need to get content in there so that we can bring people in. And people who are content creators want to know that people are going to see it. It's a little bit of chicken and egg, but a content calendar can help. And then align it to your marketing strategy and plan, just like you would any other channel. And this is a great efficiency play, because if you have, let's say, a webinar, and you're promoting it through, and let's say it's targeted to clients, and you're promoting it, the webinar, you might as well also promote the community, and then get the speakers of the webinar to go into the community ahead of time and say, I'm planning to talk about this. Any questions that you have will help shape my presentation. Do an Ask Me Anything after the fact. Just make it part of your marketing strategy plan and mix to get the most out of the community efforts. So just take a quick step back. I realized yesterday, after I'd already turned in my slides, I'm like, gosh, I didn't even show the community. And I think part of my challenge when I took this opportunity to speak about the community was, gosh, it's not successful yet. Should I really be talking about a community that's not yet successful? So the approach I took was, let me share what we're doing and what we're learning. But if any of you want to take a look at the community and how it's kind of coming together, I'd be happy to set up a call and let's do that. But what's happening next in our journey? And by the way, I do this on the side of my desk. I didn't kind of mention how this began when I mentioned, instead of an advisory board, let's look at a community. I think it's really about pulling on the loose threads of where there is opportunity and just trying something new. We've talked about meeting customers where they are. Yes, we have a website. Yes, we have an advisory board. Yes, we have a client conference. Yes, we have social media and LinkedIn, but where else are clients today, or where are they looking to be? And this just happened to be hey, I'm gonna start a community. It's part of why I don't think it's yet successful. One, it takes time, but two, this is not something somebody can just really do as a part-time job. So I'm trying, but that would be my advice is if you start that way, make the case for needing a full-time community manager. I mentioned we're taking another look at our personas. We started off with, we want senior level folks at these financial institutions People who know enough about the products that they're investing in, but also know and have an opinion on the market. What we're finding is they are signing up to be in the community and they think it's a great idea, but they're not really going there on a regular basis. I don't think these people are going to spend much time in the community. I see people nodding their heads, so I think my theory is probably right. So now we're looking at more of the influencer level. It's maybe the direct reports of those people who maybe manage teams. So it's not the I want the blue button red, but it's not the I meet with the CFO once a week, I don't have time for this. I think it's like something in between there. So we're taking another look at our personas. We're expanding our subject areas. So we started off with, we said, you know what, we're gonna go after, there's a part of our portfolio we call decisioning software, and it helps with like customer originations, customer management type thing. And we said that's our biggest, we have the biggest number of clients with that part of the portfolio. EMEA are already doing so many wonderful things. We're going to handpick some friendly clients from EMEA and get them into the community. We have another very successful part of our portfolio we call identity and fraud. And that's where we're going to expand to next, because in identity and fraud, even though these companies compete with each other, there's a common enemy in the bad guy, the fraudster, and they are typically a much more willing group to participate in things like this. So we are going to expand our subject matter to now include the identity and fraud clients. We are ramping up content creation. I mentioned the chicken and the egg. I need to get more content in there so that I then can make a big push and promote to clients to come into the community. And then with more content, then promote, get more people, and then the clients are creating the content, and then we kind of take off from there. And then the last bit is identify key metrics. So at the last roundtable conversation, I was at the metrics table, and I said, I don't want to talk about metrics, and somebody presented on it yesterday, and I thought it was very well said, and I'm going to butcher it, but the idea is, for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, we've been trying so many different things, and it's just been too soon to put those benchmarks and key metrics. But now we have data, so now we're saying, okay, this is what we've done to this point. Now we're going to identify what are the key metrics that we want to track. So that's also next in our journey. What was my next slide? Okay, what was I going to say? So a couple quick things. I also asked a few folks in my network, what is their advice for people starting communities? I'm just a voice of one, so I got a few more folks. Someone said, think about ways people will interact and have something for everyone. And I thought that was good advice, and it goes back to that place of, you know, meet people where they are. How many times do you get executives, well, let me rephrase. I've had executives say to me, like, I sent the email. Doesn't everyone read email? You know, it's like this idea that, well, I did it. Okay, do it again, and then do it over here, and do some over here, and then do it all again. The next one was, every community has a different culture. You will know what's best for your clients. So I've shared my story of what we're doing for us, and I'm sure, I hope, that it's triggered something that you think might work for your clients. And then build with your community, not for them, and get feedback along the way. And this is good advice that I need to take, because we started in building it for them, but we're at a place where we need to build with them and collect that feedback. And then I mentioned this already, but it is a full-time commitment. And in fact, it was Higher Logic, my vendor partner, who said, we've never seen a community be successful without a dedicated resource. I was like, ouch. But I just signed the renewal. You didn't tell me that when I was, you know, talking about how do we make this successful. I need another person. So just to kind of wrap up, and like I said, I would love to connect with anybody today, LinkedIn, or after the fact. Just kind of some questions to ponder is, what will you take back to your teams? A few of us were joking yesterday that the to-do list is growing. We're so inspired and energized, and we're like, where do we even begin? Just find that loose thread and pull on it and start. And then see where it takes you. Will you try a community approach? So did you come in here thinking, I'm kind of thinking about a community? Are you thinking you'll do that? Or maybe will you take bits and pieces of what you've heard yesterday and today, including this presentation, and develop a new program that fits your needs? Like I said, for me, it started with an interest. I'm interested in customer marketing experience, spotted some needs, and then just pulled on those loose threads. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us at Experian to take what we've heard from you customer marketing professionals and implement them. I'm going to ponder myself on my flight home to Orange County tonight. What am I going to take back and do? Because there is a lot, but it's been very inspiring, and it's been lovely meeting everybody. So thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you. We do have a few questions that rolled in, and I just want to say again, killer slides. I'm so glad that we were able to dive into this topic with you, because like tons of value in what you shared, and it looks like people are definitely interested in expanding. So we'll get to some questions, but you can definitely corner Jamie for lunch for sure. Talk community. So first of all, is your community gated? Can prospects view and access portions of it?
It's completely gated, and it's intentionally not found through any kind of search. I am told that that's a huge missed opportunity, so it's something we will explore in the future. I know for some of our competitors, I at least will see their community and some things that they've pushed to the ahead of the gate, but I can't get into the background, and I think we should probably do that with ours at some point. We're just not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. How do you drive customers to the community? Have you experimented with any in-app messaging?
No, we haven't, and I am embarrassed to share this story, but because we're friends.
Don't be embarrassed.
Let me tell you.
Progress over perfection.
Right? And I think the misconception is that like a big company, we must have our stuff sorted out, and we really don't. So it's very manual right now. It was just, let's cherry pick the friendly clients, and it was, I emailed them. I wanted them to feel like this was a personal invite. And then fast forward to, we had a client conference in April, and I said, guys, this is a great opportunity we've got 450 clients, let's narrow that down. Who of that group are buying products from Decision Analytics? Okay, let's avoid the top tier strategic clients that spend millions of dollars, and let's kind of find like the small window. So there were about 45 clients. I said, we should invite them. Well, we were talking earlier about marketing operations and the black hole. Like, I can't go to marketing operations and ask them to do an Eloqua campaign. What did I do? I emailed 45 people, one email at a time, because I didn't want it to be a blind copy, because that's not personal. Like, I have nothing better to do than email these people. And the conversion was like 4 people signed up for the community. I thought that was a win, but driving customers to the community right now has been very manual. But now that we're starting to think like we want this to be successful, I'm talking to the marketing teams about, can I give you a banner to put on your client newsletter? I'm going to go to the customer success managers and say, who are some clients who you are working with on a regular basis who you think would be a great fit here? It was kind of a best kept secret for a little while because of politics and all kinds of weird things, but I think now we're at that point where we need to drive customers there more than me emailing them.
Do you envision a future or a world where you leverage advocates or early adopters to support driving that community traffic, content creation, and engagement?
Oh, it's a great idea. Yeah, and I think as we've built our success on large enterprises, but we're moving into that mid-market and fintech space, and I think those people at those companies, I think, want something like this. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
What does your team look like that manages the responsibilities of the community? Is it Jamie?
I'm not going to air guitar, but it's me.
No, I don't recommend.
What does your team look like that splits? Yeah, it's me.
Amazing.
I mean, I copy people on the email and I get the thumbs up, thanks so much, but it's me. It's me right now, and that's not sustainable.
Well, I'm sure you have a vision, right, for how it'll change, because it won't always just be you, but you are the pioneer of it, which is great.
I'm pioneering, and I'm loving that pioneering. Yeah. But I do need to bring in some other pioneers.
One of the questions that showed up as well, I'm not sure if I see it here to read what it was exactly, but it was around like your content management of the community. So how do you approach like dripping things out, archiving posts, honestly, what's your cadence right now, considering all that you're doing to balance the growth of it to just keep it floating, right?
Yeah, a couple things that I did because I'm a party of one. And once Vanilla was acquired by Higher Logic offered a strategic services group. So I now have a strategic services group that they do the heavy lifting with me. So I can say, this is a blog that went up this week. Can you turn it into a post in the community? And she will do that. And she's also keeping me on my toes about wanting at least one new piece of content. When I say piece of content, it's like a new discussion thread, at least one a week, which feels so light, but it would be like 100% increase in what we did in May. So she's keeping me honest about, okay, Jamie, we had such little activity in May. You had one post. I'm like, okay, we can be better in June. We're gonna have 4 at least. So it's really like grassroots right now.
Yeah. Well, that's how it all starts, right? So you mentioned like there was a great slide up there about like all of the benefits and returns of investing in a community. With your team, with your execs, was there one like ROI in particular that made your company actually invest?
You know, it was a very healthy conversation because I went in there with the usual retention. It was like a 1% retention rate. Like we went really, even if it contributed 1% customer retention, that equals this much money. And
Nice.
But they also were pretty realistic about, yes, you can tie it to NPS and yes, you can tie it to retention, but that's gonna take a long time to get to that place. So if I'm trying to think back to when we first got approval for this, you know, it's not a huge investment to start, but the time and resource investment is more than what that looked like on paper. So no one's really breathing down my neck about any kind of ROI right now.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things that we often navigate for pitching community to our companies is the reality of the longer term investment or the longer term return on investment that you'll see.
Yeah.
So
you know what it was too? It was, and guys, like they're doing it, you know,
Yeah.
our competitors, you know, a big competitor of ours is FICO. And they have one, and another big competitor in the SaaS space was Encino, and they have one. So that was like, I think what, like the FOMO.
That's also a great like tidbit too. So with the stage you're at now, you know, having talked to your execs being like, they have this, you know, we need pressuring them a little bit more. And with the exec understanding that it's going to be like a longer term thing, what feedback have you been getting from them currently? Do you like report back to them at this stage of the development on how things going in a recurring way?
You know what, my favorite slide is the logo slide. So that's what I use right now. I'm like, look at all of these clients, but I don't tell them, like, they've not come back. They've not come back to the community. So right now it's just I elevate and promote like wins, and I tell them what they should care about. This is the logo slide. We had 10 new clients sign up this month. The clients that were at the Vision Conference also are here in the community. The advisory board, by the way, we started in EMEA. North America is my toughest region for so many reasons, but we took the advisory board and said, hey guys, we also have a community, and we carved out a place just for them. So they have access to the rest of the party, but then they have their own little private cocktail party over here. And they liked that idea, and the point was we want to carry momentum in between cabs. It's, in theory, great. Is it happening? It's pretty quiet. It's not silent, but it's pretty quiet. But so that's another thing that I'll elevate up to the executives to say, we have the North America Advisory Board members in the community.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Jamie.
Yeah.
That was such great advice, and you really, told a story around your journey so far. So, everybody, well, before we give Jamie a round of applause, I would say let's give her a round of applause, and then if you're interested, we can all rush to the stage, and we can take a picture with Jamie, but also take a picture for the Customer Marketing Community Scrapbook before we all do lunch, if that works for everybody. So
Thank
first,
you so much.
round of applause to Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.